Hello, my name is Celia Bray, and I am here to talk about why somatic therapies and working with the body is absolutely essential for anybody who wants to be happy and for a world that works for everybody. And that might sound like a big claim, but it's absolutely true. So, how often have you had moments in your life where you have been feeling emotional? And you have acted in ways that you're not proud of. And even at the time you knew that you were wound up or you were angry or you were stressed or whatever it was, and you ended up being angry with somebody or you avoid somebody or avoid having conversations you know you need to have because you don't like what you feel inside when you think about those topics or when you are trying to express yourself. And then we end up acting out, or it ends up controlling our life in other ways. So our inability to be with our own experience somatically, the sensations in our body, it is as simple as that. It is the sensations in our body that arise when we feel a certain way, when we see certain people or think of different situations. We have a whole experience in our body. And it is that alone, our inability to be with that experience, that determines so much of our behavior and how we act in the world. Because it means we end up trying to avoid, so we'll overeat or we'll go obsessive exercise or gambling or drugs or alcohol. All of those things stem from I want to feel differently in my body because I can't be with what I'm feeling right now, or I really crave to feel a different way. And so working somatically is the path to liberation because it is teaching you how to be with your own experience without it running your life, without you running from this reaction pattern that you have. Now, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy because we're so used to avoiding what we feel. And society supports that in lots of ways because we've got so much distraction around us. So we can just keep being busy and not tune in. And why I say it's essential for a world that works for everybody is because the same inability that you have to be with your sensations that might have you reach for that extra chocolate or might have you reach for the extra beer or whatever it is. And you might not even consciously be aware of it, but once you start working somatically, you'll start to really recognize it. Is the same principle that people have inside them when they are violent with other people, if they sexually abuse other people. It all comes from the same thing. I have impulses and sensations in my body that I don't know how to be with in any other way other than to act them out in that moment. So they are controlled by these impulses. And when we learn how to be with those impulses and let them come and go, feel the sensations no matter how uncomfortable they are, without having them run our lives, we have absolute freedom to be authentically who we are, to make choices that are in line with our values, to know who we are. It is really a beautiful experience. It takes practice. But the people that may have hurt you in your life have been acting on their inability to be with their own sensations. And we don't get encouraged to or taught how to connect with what's going on for us internally. When you do things you're not proud of, it's the same thing. So I really want to invite you all to be compassionate with yourselves, but also really take on, well, what if I could be with what I'm feeling in my body without feeling the need to whatever it is that it's driving you to do, or you think it's driving you to do, and you think you don't have any leverage with it. I'm not going to say control because we can't control, and control's the wrong strategy. And that leads to its own issues. That's what we do when we self-medicate. That's in terms of alcohol or food or shopping or gambling or all the things. That's a way of, in some ways, trying to, A, acting on it, but B, also potentially trying to numb it out. So working somatically, from my perspective, personally and professionally, is the most essential piece in the puzzle of living a fulfilled life, feeling able to love, feeling joy, dealing with sadness, dealing with anger, all the normal emotions that we have, anxiety, all of those things are partly because we can't be with what we're experiencing. So all of the normal experiences we have, somatic processes help you to turn in, to learn how to be at peace with being in your own skin. And for every human being on the planet, if we did that, we would not need to be acting out on other people or on the world or any of the destructive things that we see happening around us, because we would be not acting from an inability to be with ourselves, which is where a lot of those behaviors come from. So if you want a life that's really free, if you want to be free in yourself, if you want to feel connected to yourself, if you want to feel like you can love fully and know that you can handle whatever comes your way because you can actually handle your own experience, and you know that you can make decisions and set boundaries. It's a really important one. When we work somatically, we're better at setting boundaries because we're not so caught up in those sensations and uncomfortable sensations of, oh gosh, that person's not going to like me if I set this boundary, if I say no. It's actually, you know what, this doesn't feel right for me, and let me think about it and get back to you, rather than this, oh, people-pleasing thing that we do. You get to say, let me think about it, or actually it doesn't feel right. Let me go away and see what feels right. If you want to be able to do all of those things, then find processes that help you to make peace with the sensations in your body. So thank you. This is a key piece because people are like, oh, somatic therapies, what's that about? And there's lots of theories and explanations about how trauma gets trapped in our body. But I'm just wanting to share with you why it's essential for all of us to be able to be with our own experience. And then we stop blaming other people for how we feel, which is incredibly liberating for us and for the rest of the world and everybody else, because how we feel is actually our own reaction. And if we know how to be with it, then we can just start to work out what's good for us and not blame the external environment for our own experience. Thank you for listening. I hope that's been helpful for you. I'm very passionate about this, and I really hope that this helps you understand why somatic work is really good for everybody. Thank you.